For the 31st of March, 2026, this is the UAE Escalates edition of my vlog. So, as I was uploading yesterday's video, I saw this headline that told me that things have definitely gone up a notch when it comes to escalation from the UAE. In order that Iranians must leave this country. Different estimates show Iranian population in this country between 5 and 8%. The government knows the exact number because the government here has all residents of the country carrying an ID. So, unlike the United States, where there are undocumented workers where we don't know where they are, in the UAE, they know where they are. You can't have a bank in this country without the UAE ID. You certainly can't have any real good job without a UAE ID. And so they know where the Iranians are. And so ordering 5 to 8% of the population to leave the country, that is huge. To put that in perspective, that is like the United States saying that immediately between 17 to 27 million people must leave the country. This is big, real big. And the only Iranian that I'm remotely close to, I mean, I know several Iranians, but the Iranian that I am close to is my former video editor, Sina. For the record, he took many, many thousands of dollars from me. And so he and I are not on close terms, but I still care for him. He may have ripped me off, but I still care for him. And I know he's currently in the country. And so I don't know what he's doing or what he plans to do, but I wish him well. I'll just leave it at that. Another reason why this happened though is what Iran is doing has made the other Gulf countries feel the need to step it up. So yesterday, the day before, Iran went after the desalination plant in Kuwait. In Kuwait, 90% of the water consumed in Kuwait comes from desalination plants. 90%. So if Iran is successful in taking out the desalination plants, suddenly you have a population that literally cannot have access to water. That's about as existential as a threat as there possibly could be. And so the UAE is safer on that. Apparently here it's about 45% of the water that is desalinated, but still, even here, that's an existential threat. So the countries within the Gulf region have come to realize, yeah, we're not, Strait of Hormuz aside, this is now an existential battle. I love this. I don't know why. Just the notion that the United States government now expects the Arab countries to help pay for the war of choice that Donald Trump started and did not consult anybody, perhaps consulted somebody from Saudi, but certainly did not consult anyone from this country. This country, the UAE, has made that very clear. Nobody consulted with them. So anyhow, I just think it's funny. Now let's get the Arab countries to pay for it, even though it's the Arab countries that it's costing the mo. Anyhow, good luck, Donald. And when the Gulf countries pay for your war, let me know if Mexico's paid for your wall. Um, so one of the things that makes living in the UAE a little more settled, I guess, is the fact that every month the prices remain frozen for the entire month. They've had this plan since they started allowing the price of fuel to float back in 2015. They created a system where every month there's a set price, and then that price does not change until the next month. So when the war broke out, there were lines of people lining up to get gasoline in America. We didn't have that here because everybody here knew that tomorrow the price of fuel is going to be the same price as it is today. Well, now we're at the end of the month, and so we do not know what the price of fuel will be tomorrow. When I walk Cujo for our late afternoon walk, we will walk by my neighborhood gas station because I'm just curious. Will there be a line? Because right now we still don't know what the price is going to be. It has not been released. by the time we walk later today, we may know, or more likely, we won't know quite yet, because usually they release it just before midnight. They don't do it, they're not, if they wait until midnight, they're not doing it to be mean because it's the war or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's how they normally do it. So it's nothing conspiracy theory with this. They may release it late tonight. But there's probably going to be a line because I doubt the price is going to go down. And so if I had a big gas guzzling vehicle, I would certainly be fueling up today. Actually, I would have done it yesterday because I'm expecting a big line. I'll let you know tomorrow whether there was one or not. Um, Also sticking with news in the Middle East here, before the war, the Middle East was looking to be the AI leader. Specifically, the UAE was looking to be the artificial intelligence leader. And for good reason. The UAE has access to nuclear power and is able to expand it pretty easily. The UAE has access to loads of natural gas. And so the UAE can produce the electricity needed to power AI in a relatively eco-friendly way. So, in other words, they don't have to build coal-powered plants. Solar is very available here. I honestly don't know that there's any wind power being generated in this country, but you could do an AI data center in the UAE way less costly to the environment than you could pretty much anywhere else on the planet. So it made sense to have AI data centers here. Whether or not the Middle East will get to do this now, thanks to this war, remains to be seen. I don't know if the big AI companies would really want to host here. Certainly not right now. The war has to be settled before they'll consider doing that. Um, so in the previous couple of weeks, we've had oil bouncing up and down up above price of 100, below a price of 100. Well, on Monday, the price of West Texas Intermediate, which is the price of oil in the United States, settled above $100 for the first time. So that is definitively, we can say the price of oil is above $100. So supposedly the price of gasoline ticked down a few cents last week. Not sure why, but it doesn't matter. Trust me on this. The price of gasoline in the United States is going to go up. It's going up. Just know that. And I love hearing an Emirates plane flying overhead. So civilian aviation flying overhead right now. Good thing to hear. It's not military. But speaking of civil aviation, good segue there. Jet fuel prices have doubled since before the war. So if you're planning to fly anywhere, expect it's going to cost you quite a bit more. Yesterday, I have a good MAGA friend. He grew up with me. He moved away before we graduated from high school, and he was a good friend. And we've kept in touch over the years, reconnected thanks to Facebook. The last time he was in Eastern Iowa, he and I met up and we had a great time together. Um, One of my friends wanted to sleep with him, and he didn't take it. I'm not sure why, but oh well. Because he's divorced, so not saying anything, whatever. Anyhow, let that go, Steve. Let that go. Um, but he's a big MAGA Trump supporter, and so he posted making fun of the No Kings rally and all that good stuff. And I was trying hard to like just I engaged him, and I actually wrote several things, and I try to use Rasmussen. Rasmussen is the most Republican friendly pollster that exists. If Rasmussen's polls were right, there's been no Democrat. McCain beat Obama in 2008, according to Rasmussen. Romney beat Obama in 2012, according to Rasmussen. The Senate would have 65 Republican senators if you went by Rasmussen polls. Rasmussen is somehow considered a legitimate pollster, but wow, do they skew? It skews a good 5 to 10 points more Republican than all the other polls. Okay. So I was trying to show, Matt, that even with Rasmussen, Trump is deeply unpopular. And so I created all these facts and engaged him and blah, 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 blah. And then he deleted the entire thread. after I spent an hour trying to engage, and he went back and forth with me for a while, and then he just deleted it. And so I have now muted Matt, and he has sent me some private messages, whatever. I don't know if I'll re-engage. It's just like, what's the point? Dude, I was trying as a friend to address the fact that the president you support so much is deeply unpopular. And rather than accept the truth, you waste an hour of my time. Yeah. So, speaking of the No Kings, I'm still seeing some pictures that I just love. So I love supercalifragilistic sexist Nazi POTUS. I like that one. I just like that one. I really love this picture. It is the Lady Liberty being handcuffed and taken away. I love this picture because the obvious symbolism of Lady Liberty being arrested. That's great. But also, if you look at it carefully, she looks like she's really into the cop who's arresting her. Like, hey, after I get through processing and get out, can we meet up for a drink? I think this guy who's arresting her may well get laid tonight. I'd love to have the follow-up on that picture. Personally, I wish I could have this shirt. I wish someone would make this shirt for me. Changing one word. The shirt says, if you can't read it, I'm a better Christian than any Trump supporting, I'm a better Christian than any Trump supporter, and I'm an atheist. I don't identify as an atheist, I identify as agnostic, but I'd still wear that shirt in public. I think that's an awesome shirt. And my last slide of the day goes back to what I was talking about yesterday, and that is that I mentioned the Gini coefficient, and I don't know that I'm ever going to do a video about the Gini coefficient, but again, what matters about it is that it looks at wealth inequality. And currently in the United States, with the most recent data, it is showing that the wealth inequality in the United States is higher than the wealth inequality was in France back in 1789 when they decided to depose their king and the ruling class. Think about that. We have greater wealth inequality now than they did when they decided to overthrow their government. Hmm. Speaking of overthrowing our government, not advocating for that, for the record, I just want to point out that there is some new polling in my home area that I live in the first congressional district of Iowa. We're represented by Marianne Miller Meeks. I've mentioned her before. I have Republican sources, friends that are just amazed that she ever got elected in the first place, and absolutely amazed she's ever been reelected because they she's just terrible. She's a terrible campaigner. Just listening to any of her speeches, she does nothing good. She's like the blind squirrel that finds a nut. So she found her nut, and she's in Congress, and she's been in Congress for a couple of terms. But this will be her last term. I'm willing to go out on a bold prediction and say she's done. A new poll came out that shows that Donald Trump in the first congressional district is minus 8%. So he's underwater by 8%. That's not good, but that's where, if you look at where other races and other polls are, that's totally in line for what this district should be. So 8%, we're not an outlier in any way with that, given other polls and other districts. Marianne Miller Meeks, she is negative 20%. So she polls 12 points below President Trump. So the Bohannon campaign, the Democrat running for the congressional seat to represent me, they have to be like all smiles today because that is good news. And because there's so much bad news going on in the world, that's where I'm going to end this. We need some good news. A Democrat in Congress representing us for the first time since 2021. We've not had since 2021, for the past 6 years, we've not had a Democrat representing us in Congress. We will at this time next year. On that note, see you tomorrow.